Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into something really interesting that you sent over, and it's about how your zodiac sign might actually play a role in how you achieve your goals, or what some people call manifestation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we'll be looking at astrological signs, specifically kind of how they're grouped by their elements: fire, earth, air, and water, and how those elements might be connected to different ways of getting what you want in life. Have you ever thought about, if those natural tendencies that you have, maybe tied to your zodiac sign, could actually help you reach your aspirations more effectively?
It's definitely something to think about. It's interesting to consider that maybe how our energy naturally works could give us like a unique perspective on our strengths when it comes to setting and achieving goals, right?
Totally. And it's not like, strict rules or anything, right? More like tendencies, like you said. So your sources actually went into a lot of detail on these potential connections, breaking down the different manifestation styles for each sign, and even talking about some upcoming astrological events that might be relevant to careers and finances, all across the 12 signs and their elements.
Lots to cover.
Yeah. So let's jump right in. Let's start with fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. One larger theme here is boldness.
Oh, for sure. And for those fire signs, they've got that natural drive. The suggestion is that to manifest effectively, they need action, movement. It's all about channeling that energy outward. One tip that really stood out was creating a vision board, like a visual representation of their goals, and then each week committing to one bold action that moves them toward that vision, fuel that fire.
Yeah. Take action, make it happen, love it.
Yeah.
And speaking of action, the source mentioned that April could be a really strong time for fire signs career-wise. But there's a little caveat, right?
Definitely a caveat. It emphasizes the importance of really aligning your energy, being clear about your intentions before just jumping into things head first. That impulsiveness is part of their nature, but a little bit of mindful direction goes a long way.
Makes sense. So if you're out there and you're a fire sign, just think about how actively going after your goals really resonates with that natural take charge energy you already have.
Absolutely.
Now let's switch gears and talk about earth signs. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We're shifting energies here. It's all about building stability, tangible results.
Definitely more grounded, right? So their natural way of manifesting lines up with routine, structure, and staying grounded in practical steps. Less about the big leaps and more about the steady climb.
Right. And the source actually suggests a really cool technique called scripting. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I've dabbled in it.
It's basically like detailed journaling every day, but you write as if the reality you want is already happening. It's like living it on paper. And that structured approach really seems to fit with that earth sign energy. There's also a mention of positive financial energy coming up in April, but it sounds like it's connected to how strongly they believe in themselves.
Yeah, that self-belief is huge across the board, but for those earth signs, because they tend to be, pragmatic and realistic, cultivating that unshakable self-assurance could be the key that unlocks that financial potential. So for all the earth signs listening, think about this. How can you bring in those consistent and intentional practices to really solidify your path to success? What daily routines can you create?
Okay, let's move on to air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The source really highlights their intellectual curiosity and creative minds.
Oh, for sure. Air signs are all about ideas. So naturally, their manifestation style is driven by thought, communication, and innovation. They're the thinkers, the communicators, the ones who come up with new ways of doing things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one key tip for them is to actively use affirmations, speaking those desires out loud. Give those thoughts form and put them out into the universe. It's like they're speaking their reality into existence.
Right. Even try voice recordings. Hear yourself saying those affirmations.
Oh, that's interesting. Like almost a form of, manifestation magic, I guess.
Yeah, kind of putting it out there. And what's really interesting is that the source points to some potentially big changes in relationships for air signs. It encourages them to be open to unexpected connections, which, honestly, air signs often thrive on anyway.
So if you're an air sign listening, think about how you can use the power of your thoughts and words to shape your reality, especially in your relationships and social circles.
It's powerful stuff.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about water signs. This is my element. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. It's all about emotions and intuition.
Oh, yeah. Water signs, they're deep. They feel things intensely, and they often just know things intuitively. So their way of manifesting comes from that deep well of emotions, that inner knowing, that powerful inner vision they possess. They really connect with what they want on an emotional level, first and foremost.
Yeah, it's like they feel it into being.
Yeah.
And the source suggests a practice that's so fitting for water signs.
Yeah.
It's meditating with water, whether it's taking a bath, being by the ocean, or even just sitting and listening to the rain. They can really tap into their element and visualize their desires.
I love that.
Really powerful. And looking at April specifically, the source hints at a period of healing for water signs. This could be a time where they release old emotional baggage and create the space for abundance to flow in.
Yeah, it's like they're clearing out the old to make room for the new.
Exactly.
You know, when you step back and look at all of this, the source really beautifully frames manifestation as a partnership with the universe. It's not about forcing things to happen, but rather aligning with the natural flow. And these astrological insights we've been talking about, they're like potential pathways, signposts along the way. But ultimately, it's your individual inner spark, your unique magic, that truly brings your desires to life.
That's a great way to put it. So as we wrap up here, I want to leave everyone with something to consider. As you think about these elemental approaches, the drive of fire, the grounding of earth, the mental clarity of air, and the emotional depth of water, what's one small personalized experiment you could try this week? Something aligned with your zodiac sign's tendencies, just to see what happens. Just a little nudge to see what resonates.
Love that. Just experiment and see what unfolds.
Exactly. All right. That's all the time we have for today. See you next time for another deep dive.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.